Hi, good morning. Happy Monday. I am finally feeling like I'm getting over this really frustratingly awful cold that I have had for like a week and a half now. It's been actually been rather debilitating. I'm going to see if I can scoot this a little bit. So, okay, so good morning. And I'm just going to wait a second and let people come in if they're coming. Today I want to talk about, it's kind of my soapbox actually, about parenting and about motherhood. And hi, welcome. Yeah, it's really kind of my soapbox, and so we're gonna talk about it for a minute here because that's what we do with soapboxes. So, today I just want to talk about kids and parenting, and what kids are and what kids aren't. So, in our society and in our culture, I think that we tend to think that we don't value kids. We don't value them as people. They're either kids are to be seen and not heard, or we use them as some kind of an accessory. Kids are something that like you're supposed to have, and then there are some determination of your value or of your worth, like how great your kids are has something to do with how great you are, or messed up stuff like that. I feel like it's not what kids are supposed to be. Kids are people. And I kind of had this realization a couple years ago, and I have a blog post called When the Bully is Your Friend, and it was inspired by an instance where I think one of my kids was on the swing, and somebody was pushing them, and they said, "You're too high, you're pushing me too high, I'm scared," and the person pushing them said, "You're not too high, you're fine." And it just really struck me that at that moment, my kids were not being valued as people. They were not being valued as like their own boundaries, their own limits, the things that they were comfortable with at that moment were not being honored. And how are we supposed to teach our kids to honor other people's boundaries and limits and stuff when we don't honor theirs? So just because they're a kid, they're supposed to be immune to the desire to be heard. And so that's kind of the basis of what I want to talk about today. I just had a brain fart. Sorry, I didn't have my notes. Sorry, I'm still being beaten down by this cold a bit here. I have not been sick like this, like ever. So there's just a few things that I want to talk about in regards to our kids, and honoring them as people that I just kind of want to touch base on today. And the first one is just to remember that your kids are people, that we're training them, we're raising them, we're growing them up and to become adults. So right now they're just little people, little adults. They're not, they have thoughts and dreams and fears and feelings and hopes. And the way that we respond to those things is going to affect how they, who they grow up to be, how they end up parenting their kids, how stable they are as an adult. If we spend our time shaming our kids or bullying them, they're not going to grow up to become successful adults. They're not going to be compassionate, empathic people. They're going to become selfish, or they're going to become depressed. They're going to believe that they don't have value if we're shaming them all of the time. So the first thing is just to remember that they're just tiny people, and the way that you would like to be respected, that we need to respect our own kids. Now, obviously, we're the grown-ups, we're the adults, and there's a certain amount of authority and a certain amount of respect, I think, that has to come with that. But I don't think that we cannot respect our kids and have them respect us at the same time. I just think that is a myth, that we have to carry this heavy hand all of the time. and not give them a voice. So the second thing is to give them a voice, to give them the opportunity to change your mind. Respectfully, of course, and this doesn't mean that my kids get to bowl over me in a decision, but I do try and take a second and let them share their opinion. Let them share their voice. They don't agree with me. Okay, well, can you respectfully and kindly tell me why and explain why you think this should be different, and then weigh it in. And I think the key on this is to sometimes to change your mind, to allow them to change your mind. I was talking with a counselor a while back, and he explained how important it is to allow kids to sometimes to change their mind, to give an argument. I mean, what are we teaching them? Critical thinking and respect, and to think for themselves, to think creatively. And all of those things are really important for adults to do as well, to think creatively, to be respectful, to honor other people, but still be able to voice your own opinion. All of those things are very important skills, and I think that we cheat our kids when we don't allow them to do those things. Hi, Katie. So, okay, so allow your kids to change your mind sometimes, and give them a voice. Give them their voice. That's the second one. And then I had a third one. So the first one was what was the first one? Somebody who was listening. Remember that they're little people. The second one is to, yes, and honor their limits, absolutely. The second one was to give them a voice. And I had a third one. I'm sorry. Because the third one was going to be the second one, and then I went with a second one. The third one has a second one. Well, I don't know. I'll remember it next week. Or in a minute here. So, what thoughts do you guys have about parenting and about remembering that your kids are people? Is there any questions or thoughts that you have on it? It's just, like I said, this is kind of my soapbox. It's something that I just think is really, really important, because we can't expect them. It's just like our little boys. We tell them to be tough, toughen up and don't cry and suck it up. But then when they're grown adults, we expect them to be, empathic. And we want them to be, like, what kind of a partner do you want? Do you want a partner that just sucks it up and doesn't cry and, shuts down their emotion? Not so much. Yes, allow them to change your mind and practice having a voice. Yes, I just think those things are so, so important. Because that's what we want them to do as adults, and to allow them to do those things now in an environment where it's safe, to let them practice autonomy and something that doesn't really matter all that much, just to give them the skills and the strength and the self-esteem and the confidence to do those things in situations where they matter. And now, if we're letting our kids practice, we're letting them practice here and now. When the stakes aren't so high, let them practice some skills that are going to teach them how to make better choices as an adult or as a teenager. And let them do that now in a safe environment where the consequences are going to be much smaller than in high school or college or as an adult. So those are my thoughts on my soapbox of parenting this morning. So feel free to tweet me at @VerGeorge and let me know what you think and what questions you have about parenting, and give me and I will maybe address my thoughts on your issue on an upcoming scope. So in the meantime, at 8:15, I don't even know what time it is because my grandfather clock wound down. That's the other clock I have down here. But at 8:15, catch at Katie_Horner, and she'll be talking. I think she'll be talking blogging today. And 8:30 she'll be on Spanish, and at 8:45 Central. These are all Central times. I forget about this whole time zone thing. 8:45, Danita Fogelman will be on too. So, and then later Danielle Tate will be on, but I don't know what time she's on today. So those are my girls. Check them out and tweet me. Let me know what your parenting thoughts are. And actually, you know what? Tweet me sometime this week and let me know what you did, how you took one of these steps this week. So let me know how you listened or let your kid change your mind or honor their thoughts and feelings this week. So thanks, guys, and I hope you all have a great day.